this episode, we're going to talk about terrariums. I've had this terrarium for a little while now. I've learned quite a lot about what you need to do to them to keep them happy. This one's growing pretty decently, but it's kind of very unstable. It's hard to keep it in the right balance of too wet or too dry, just because it doesn't have like a false bottom or anything. It's just straight up dirt in a jar. And it's okay, but I think I can do better. Oh god, alright, here we go. I gotta admit I'm pretty flipping nervous about this, because I don't want to kill things, but it's gotta be done. Oh my god. Alright, come on. I've collected this moss from like random places over the course of a long time. I couldn't tell you what kind they are, but they're cute. Obviously, being in Australia, I actually found a lot of our mosses don't work that great inside at least this terrarium because it just gets too moist and they rot. So you can see some of these are like quite green and vibrant and growing, and others are like dying. And that's part of why I wanted to do this, so I can get some stuff in here that actually appreciates the humidity. I think I'd need a longer gardening spoon. This one is a short, compact gardening spoon, perfect for small plants, but this terrarium is a little too large. So I'll have to get hold of a longer gardening spoon. Okay, this wasn't anywhere near as like difficult or nerve-wracking as I thought it would be. I kind of had this idea that trying to take these out would be the worst, and I would be sad because I killed half of them. But I think we're actually doing alright here. You can sort of see part of the problem is a lot of the dirt in here is just sticks and shit because I got it out of my garden, but I've sort of realized you want some better stuff in there. Oh my god. Here I was talking about it being easy and suddenly it's hard. This technically is not a gardening spoon, even though it looks like a spoon. It's not, so don't be mistaken. Only genuine gardening spoons are supported on this channel. Right, so the reason I'm bothering to do anything with this terrarium is, as you can see, it's stayed way too moist. I actually haven't put any water in this for at least a month or more, but it's very, I don't know, even muddy, we'll say. And it kind of stinks, very slightly. So clearly there's some rotting going on in here that we really don't want. So I just cut this bit of screen. It's just a screen from a door. I cut that so that it fits in here. I don't know how well you can see, but it stays up off the bottom a little bit. And I'll show you what that's for right now. Cool, so we'll start with getting a base of some rocks down. Try and spread them out a little. And then I have some slightly smaller rocks. Kind of just sifted some dirt in the garden. I know I could have bought decorative rocks, but this ain't the bougie channel, this is plant rescue. So don't you worry about it. Even this jar came free from council cleanup. That's how we roll, you know it. So anyway, what we're doing is we're putting an area for the water to drain to over the course of a few days, and then every so often... Actually, the whole point, what am I talking about? The whole point of this is so that I don't have to constantly water it. Ideally, the water will drain down to the bottom, and then in the mornings, it tends to mist up a whole lot. So the water should hopefully go from the bottom where it's collected overnight to being humidity in the air and all over the glass and drip back onto the plants. So that way we won't have this way over moist like soil all through it. There'll be a couple of sections, one that's a bit drier for the plants and then a collection of water for below so that it has a nice little water cycle. So there we go. That's a nice little bottom layer. And we'll get this nice screen over the top. And then we'll get some more of these rocks. actually put mostly smaller on top of here, but this is just to help it stay down. Cool. So that's looking like we've got something going on there. That's gonna be the very base, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of sand, and I'm gonna start to get some of this back in. So yeah, this is quite sandy here. Not too much actual like dirt going on, and we've got a whole nice drainage system going on now. So we should hopefully be ready to actually put some moss back in. Okay, and now it's time. The moment you've all been waiting for me to actually do something and stop talking because I'm nervous. Alright, here we go. I'm going to put just a little of this dirt back in to try and avoid shocking the system. I don't know if that's a thing, but it is for aquariums. And this is like an aquarium only without the water, so totally sensible. Terrarium. Oh yeah, the Rium is the same. Oh my god.
And Terra means land.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is more like an aquarium. I actually thought I was just kind of making shit up. But here we go, Tammy with the rescue. Turns out this is factual plant rescue. You guys know it. We totally know what we're talking about, and you should trust us in all things. So here are some little guys I've been growing. I just had them in a small dish. I've been kind of, to be honest, just as I walk around and I find a tiny little plant like this growing in the sidewalk or in some grass, I just pick it up, and I've been putting it in here, and the moss has kind of grown and expanded a little bit. And I found that some of these are a nice size that'll actually fit in this terrarium. To be honest, this one's probably a little too big, but it's been in there for a while now and I'm attached to it, so it can stay. These other little ones here, they'll look quite sweet because they don't actually grow too large. Maybe this one's a bit too big, so I might put that in something else. Anyway, we'll try and get these all in and looking sweet. Oh god. As it gets more full, this is getting much harder, as you are a witness to. I'm kind of really struggling to get in there now. I think it might be time to upgrade from the tiny little gardening spoon. Okay. So I'm not doing the best job at laying this out, but it's kind of ending up kind of bumpy and interesting. Sort of like it would be in nature, maybe we'll say. That's the intention here. I kind of like it. You can sort of look in and it looks kind of nice. You can see a sweet little, I don't know, plants in there doing their thing. I like this end over here. It's kind of, I put everything back in relatively how it was previously, but I think they'll be happier now. Dirty. So let's get these last few in and we'll call it a day on this terrarium. I think, because I do want to move on, I got another terrarium that I'm a little bit excited about. So hopefully we can get that one all set up as well. Alright, I mean, I'm going to probably try to populate this with more baby plants, but for now, that's how it's going to sit, I think. There's going to be a little bit of time while they settle in, so I will have to like water it occasionally if it's looking too dry and leave it open if it's looking too wet. But after a period of time, like a couple of weeks, I should be able to get that nicely balanced and it can just stay closed. And then the last step here is make it look nice by cleaning off all the smudges you put on the inside. Actually, it'll probably help them get more water too. But to be honest, I care more about being able to look in there and see my pretty things.
You're probably wondering why we're cleaning this terrarium.
You are. You're also probably wondering why we're inside. It's been raining like monsoon for the last couple of days here, so we've been trapped inside. So we did a terrarium, yay, you guys love it. Alright, cool. I think we're roughly good to go. This is, I'm gonna say, a preliminary attempt at this, because just looking in here, I'd like to mess with a few small things and probably put in a couple of more little plants. I ended up intending to try and get a bit of like a slope in here, lower on this side, higher on this side, and we haven't really ended up with that just because of the way the moss was, so I might try to modify that at another point, but I'm going to avoid doing too much right now because I think that it needs to relax after getting smushed by some crazy bitch. Anyway, so that's that one. I'm actually going to leave the moisture level as is. I'm not going to water it because the moss was quite moist. So there we go. That's the cutest little terrarium ever now. Literally. It looks cute. You can see some of the rocks on the bottom, and I think it's fun. So yeah, that's that one. I'd like to move on to an even bigger one that I'm kind of excited about.